So normally I like to wait a little bit longer before I do my tier lists because I just like to give the meta a little bit of time to change just so way I can make the necessary changes, but this time, well, we gotta do one now. A lot has changed in just a short period of time with the introduction of Marbleberry and the discovery of Suspicious Hunter Cream Soda. Yeah, there's a lot. Expect quite a few changes in this list, but let's just get into it. I guess before we start, I should just say that this is not a tier list ranked solely on power, and that this is more of a general investment tier list. I will be taking every single game mode into account, besides Tower Arena specifically for the DPS, because the DPS meta in Tower Arena will change a lot. Essentially, factors can include how versatile they are, what modes they're used in, how good they are in modes, how hard it is to build them, promotions that they're viable at, just quite literally everything. Can also include things like future-proofing or how likely they are to get replaced in the future. Anyways, let's get started for real this time. Now for D tier, there aren't going to be any changes and there really isn't much to talk about. Werewolf is still like one of the worst DPS. He is just not used in any scenario. Angel is still really bad, and Ninja still provides literally nothing. If you're a big fan of these cookies, then I'm so sorry. Like, build them if you want, but just know that you aren't going to be able to practically use them. You can use them, but you won't get much out of it. Now, looking at the C tier, we have some changes. First of all, we are going to be moving Rye out of the C tier, and you will see where she is later. We are also going to be moving Chili down to the C tier, and moving Gumball up in the C tier. Now, we'll touch on Rye later, but the reason why I'm moving Chili down is she is kind of just not used at all. Now, Rye has found usage somewhere, which is why she is being moved out of C tier because, well, she has proven she can be used in some places, but Chili's not very practical as a DPS. She is just worse jalapeno in every single aspect. She does less damage, she's melee, she has nothing unique in her kit that's actually useful. I'm sorry, iframes on her special skill don't do much, and overall, she's just kind of mid. I do think she needs something in her kit to make her better, but I'm not exactly sure. Now, Gumball being moved up is actually a pretty good thing. Now, I mentioned at the start I am not including Tower Arena for DPS, but taggers and supports might get a little bump because of it. Now, while I'll touch on Cream Soda later, because, well, she's all the way up there, Gumball has actually found some usage in Arena with both Ice Mint and Cream Soda. Candy Drop exists, and they could just use Candy Drop instead of him, but Gumball has proven to be better in some scenarios. Meaning, he might be worth building if you use Ice Mint or Cream Soda in Arena. Outside of that, he's the exact same. He's just only used in champion raids for Mono Water. Isn't really used anywhere else, unfortunately. Crushed Pepper and Chamomile, honestly, there's not much to say. Sugar Rush has not come back yet. Thankfully, I don't know. I didn't love the mode, but it makes them a lot worse. Crushed Pepper is higher because he does have a buff on his 4th promotion. Chamomile doesn't buff at all, and it's kinda rough, and she's part of the reason why Wind is so bad. They're both great at their job, which is shielding and healing, but unfortunately that's just a niche that isn't really useful in any of the content which focuses solely on damage. Same thing is kind of with Pistachio, but because Lemon exists and buffs Light better than she does, and also because she's a support who doesn't have access to any good support artifacts, that just really makes it rough because she's slash, not assist, and yeah, it's just... Pistachio has it rough out here, guys. While she does provide some light damage, ultimately it's not enough, considering she can't run any artifacts that actually help the team. On to Gingerbrave and Muscle. Gingerbrave is still the same as he was before. He's good for speedrunning levels, and he could be used in place of an Earth DPS in Infinite Lab or instead of a guild battle. But yeah, he's not a great DPS anywhere else. And Muscle still has his niche of being a really, really, really good burst shielder in single player modes, specifically. He does not buff, but his burst shielding is something that even Crushed Pepper and Chamomile don't have. But unfortunately, because he's horrible in any multiplayer mode, he can't really go up higher than them. Overall, C tier cookies are usable under the right circumstances, in the right place, at the right time, with the right build, but generally, it's a little rough. Alright, well, I said I was placing Rye somewhere, and Rye is essentially replacing Chili in the B tier, which is kind of surprising. Starting with Rye this time, actually. Rye recently found usage in Infinite Labyrinth, and she's actually been used a little bit in Arena. Now, I said I wouldn't include Arena. I said I wouldn't, but, hear me out. I think Arena has kind of shown how Rye can be good under the right circumstances. And I do believe that if we do get a future wind cookie that specifically helps the element a lot, Rye could be great. Or if she also gets a change. Either way, she's finding usage in Infinite Labyrinth, Chili is not. One of them is used, one of them is not, meaning one of them goes in B and one of them goes in C, and it has to be Rye going in B. Moving on, Twisted Donut, same as he was before, maybe a little worse since Honey Bear came out and he isn't actually used in champion raids anymore, but he's not bad overall. If you build him instead of Candy Drop, it'll be rough, but yeah, I mean, he can work as an Earth Tagger. He has pretty decent off-field damage and can be used for Infinite Labyrinth or Guild Boss battles. Probably not gonna be used a whole lot in champion raids because Candy Drop is just so much better, and, you know, Tower Arena for that matter. Overall, he's an alright cookie. He's a rare tagger, he tags, he debuffs, he does his job, just Candy Drop does it better. Oh, I actually forgot to do the other changes in this tier. My bad, guys. So Dark Choco is going to the top of B, and we are actually bringing down both Wizard and Alchemist. So yeah, starting with Dark Choco, okay, this is a little bit hypocritical, but Arena has shown that Dark Choco has potential. He just needs to tap into it. Specifically, he has potential with Marbleberry, who again we will talk about here real soon, but he's actually shown to have quite good damage, especially with Marbleberry. While he's not the best DPS in Arena, he isn't the worst, which is surprising considering Dark Choco is known for being horrible at dealing with bosses in the long run. I think it's shown that he's actually pretty capable, and that if you build him, he's not gonna be horrible. Sure, you won't use him in champion raids, but everywhere else, he honestly might be possible to use. He's not, like again, he's not horrible, he's not awful, just, you know, he has limits, big limits, but also big numbers. Going back down, Malisauce is where she is, and has been. Nothing's changed with her. She's still the fire tagger for champion raids and is still like budget cherry and Infinite Labyrinth and maybe using guild boss battles, I don't know. Malisauce is just weird. She procs going beyond slowly. Her attacks are slow. She does okay off-field damage. She reduces fire resistance, but fire res shred isn't technically unique because they could always release a tagger that does that. And she's essentially slightly more versatile Gumball. If you build her, you're only building her to be a fire tagger, not for any other reason, which is just the issue. Sugar Globe, nothing's really changed with her. She's still, I mean, she found some usage in Infinite Labyrinth, which is actually why she's not lower, because she could be used again one day, but she still struggles with groups of enemies as a whole, and by building her, you really aren't going to get much for your account. She needs to be like maxed with a really good lemon in order to truly shine, and that's not achievable for 99% of the players. If she's not maxed, she's not worth using. Sorry. Okay, so back up. Wizard. Wizard and Alchemist are both dropping for kind of similar reasons. Alchemist is dropping because Marbleberry came out, and, well, yeah, we'll touch on that later. Marbleberry is better than Alchemist. Surprise! Oh my gosh, whoa! Yeah, no, she still is going to be used in Lab a lot because, well, she hasn't changed there, but as a tagger and as a debuffer, Marbleberry does take the cake. Again, I'll talk about that more later. And I'm honestly just moving Wizard down because, well, yeah, sure, he is still the light tagger, but I haven't seen him as much in Infinite Labyrinth. And to be quite honest, he doesn't do his whole tagging job a lot. He's definitely a very flawed tagger, kind of like Plantain, except he's not as unique as Plantain. Yeah. And also, Light has fallen off immensely from ticket burning teams and mono element champion raids, which is a little rough. Honestly, Wizard could go up to A, to be quite honest, because he is the only light tagger, so you kind of do need him for the light tags. But I don't know. Actually, you know what? No. We'll keep Wizard in A simply because, well, yeah, he's technically a quite viable cookie everywhere else. He just is flawed. There isn't much to say about him. I've spent too much time on this old cookie. Bro is an old wizard, let him retire. Okay, if my wizard talk was incoherent, he's alright. He's essentially better Alchemist now, since Alchemist kind of got replaced by Marbleberry, but he's still a very flawed tagger, and will probably get replaced as far as the big boss light tagger goes. Yeah. So, Marbleberry time. Marbleberry, ooh. Where's Marbleberry to go? I think I am going to put Marbleberry right here. Above Durian, below Kohlrabi. Actually, nah, I lied. She's gonna actually go above Kohlrabi. Oh, and as far as other changes to the A tier go, we're moving Cream Soda out, and we're bringing Ice Mint down. I know, shocking. Oh, but nothing else is happening here. So, there's a lot I want to talk about here. So I guess we will start with Marbleberry. Marbleberry is interesting because, well, she's interesting. People kind of underestimated her at first, and she definitely isn't Candy Drop. Let's make that very clear. She is not as universal as Candy Drop, but she's not horrible. The issue is she plays around elemental tags a lot, and elemental tags are usually a very element-specific thing. And honestly, not every DPS can really use elemental tags. Every DPS can use Candy Drop's defense shred. That's the big issue. She does provide quite long tags, only having a 2-second downtime, which isn't that bad. And she does provide a good vulnerability debuff. I think it's 40% at full promotion, and adds an extra 10% for dark type cookies, which, you know, is very good. And she has really solid burst damage. Like, I'm surprised. Actually, now that I think about it, I think she should be above Cherry. I think, as good as Cherry is, I don't know. I think Marbleberry has the potential of being a very, very solid cookie if you build her. Really good for dark teams, probably really good in guild battles, really good in Infinite Labyrinth. I've used her, she works, and also very good in arena, especially for dark teams. Only issue is she's not too friendly to build. You do need Golden Finery on her, as neither of the other support sets work. And while you could build her with a DPS set, that DPS set is ultimately worth giving to a DPS and not to a tagger. I don't know, interesting cookie. I think she's a solid A. Now talking about Ice Mint, well, Suspicious Hunter Cream Soda is broken, and he is no longer the top water DPS in champion raids, which was what he had going for him. While he is the #1 cookie for, I guess, water DPS for Labyrinth, he's not for champion raids, like I just said. He definitely lost some value. He's definitely not worth building for champion raids anymore, but he remains very good for guild battles and for Infinite Labyrinth. His single target damage just isn't as high as Suspicious Hunter Cream Soda, but his hold down ultimate is still very strong for clearing waves of enemies in Infinite Labyrinth. So, you know, he's definitely not bad. If you invested in him, don't feel bad, because he definitely still has a usage in Infinite Labyrinth. Him and Cream Soda kind of just swapped places. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the tier. Basil Pesto, about the same as he has been. Okay-ish DPS. His single target DPS isn't horrible. Really good, really good AoE damage. Not too promotion unfriendly. Pretty simple to build. Yeah, Durian. Well, broken in arena, but we aren't counting arena, so yeah. About the same as he always has been. Okay, single target damage, but he is really good at shredding bosses. We did find that out from arena. This has been known. At promotion 5, he is absolutely insane at shredding bosses, but that's at promotion 5, which means he's promotion unfriendly. But generally, if you build Sting Durian, you will probably find more use out of him than Basil Pesto. Also, Basil Pesto needs Suspicious Hunter, and there's other cookies you can put it on, like jalapeno. And Cream Soda. But yeah, anyways, both of them are pretty solid DPS. Kohlrabi, still very good. Very solid DPS, especially in arena with his buff, but we're not counting that. Interesting though, he's not promotion friendly. You need him at his 4-star promotion, otherwise he just does not work properly. So that's a very fun thing that they added. In case you don't know, it's because his passive is a lot of his damage, and it cannot crit unless you have his 4-star promotion. So yeah, not build friendly. But if you do build him, you will find some usage. He can be used in Infinite Labyrinth, though Dark Choco is generally better in a lot of situations. Used in champion raids still, as he is the better single target dark type DPS. Just, he's solid. If you have met his 4-star promotion, definitely worth building him. And finally, we have Cherry, who is the same as before. She is absolutely goated for Infinite Labyrinth. Great AoE damage. Essentially unreplaceable as a character as of now. Let me clarify. As of now, she is unreplaceable. She just does so much. She does good burst damage to smaller enemies. She can place down a field that can just burn enemies as soon as they spawn. Just very solid. Very solid for Infinite Labyrinth. And you could really use her in every mode besides champion raids, because champion raids is very strict with their teams. But other modes, like if Sugar Rush comes back, she's good there. You can definitely maybe find use in arena, but I doubt it. But we're not counting that, guys. We're not counting that. I don't know. Just, she's worth building. She's worth building simply for Infinite Labyrinth because it does reset weekly, and she does do something really unique, and it just joyous days. Okay, now that we're done with the A tier, yeah, Cream Soda is going up there. Oh, and before I forget, we are gonna bring Lemon down here. unfortunately. So starting with Cream Soda, I already touched a little bit on her earlier, but some new discoveries of Suspicious Hunter Cream Soda, which was found a while ago, but it didn't really catch on until, you know, some people tested it and then it got like really big. Yeah, I don't know. Knight made a video on it like a month or two ago and it didn't catch on, and then Water Champion Raids came back and people tested it, and Tower Arena came back, and now it's like breaking the game. I believe this was how they always intended Cream Soda to be built, but yeah. I remember reading her first promotion, sorry, what am I saying? Her 2-star promotion, and it said her wave counted as a basic attack. And that's ultimately why this set is so good, is because that wave damage just get amplified by the Suspicious Hunter set bonus, which, you know, is insane because her wave already did a ton of damage. This just makes it do even more damage. And it ultimately helps her with the issue of not having really good sustained burst damage, but now she does. So yeah, that problem's fixed. She is the #1 cookie for champion raids, but Iceman has replaced her in Infinite Labyrinth, but she's also still good in Infinite Labyrinth with a Mermaid or TBD set. So honestly, yeah, Cream Soda mains are still winning even though they lost for a patch, but now she's back and she's the second best DPS in the game. As for Lemon, I moved him down because ultimately I think it's time. His value hasn't really changed, and I think that's an issue. Yeah, he just isn't good as a universal support, unfortunately. His crit damage buffs aren't bad, but there's just so many other better buffers out there and debuffers out there, like Rockstar, Peach, Honeybear, even Blackberry, but like Blackberry kind of got outshined by Honeybear, which is why she's below him. Yeah. He is still amazing for Infinite Labyrinth, just proving to be very, very, very useful. But that really just depends if you want to build him for that. He's also really good if you like light type cookies because he's always going to be very, very solid for that. There really isn't much more to say though. He's being moved down just because I just don't think he's worth it to be SS anymore. He's not on the same level as Peach and Honeybear, unfortunately. Rockstar is still an S. I'm not going to move him up, kind of like with Blackberry, except Rockstar is still used a ton in Infinite Labyrinth, and because Cream Soda is kind of shining again, that means having a built Rockstar is going to help you a ton. I don't have a built Rockstar, so I can't properly utilize Cream Soda, which is rough. But yeah, no, he's still solid. He's still very, very good. It's why he's all the way up at S. He is like essentially the same as Peach. Peach is just like a little bit better. But yeah, he still used a lot in Infinite Labyrinth. Blackberry's not, which again is why she's all the way down there. There. Because, you know, she's a good universal debuffer still. I guess we're talking about Blackberry too. Blackberry is staying where she is. She's the same, but Honeybear is just better to build, and Blackberry's better to build if you like dark type cookies. So yeah. My Honeybear and Blackberry share the same set, so it does not really matter to me. Either way, those two are still the same, except Rockstar gained a little bit of value, but I'm still gonna move him up because Peach is still the better universal attack buffer. This is like the most scatterbrained tier list I've done yet. I'm so sorry, guys. Hope you guys are following along. Anyways, Plantain, still the same, still is the only cookie who can group up enemies, which is still very, very, very useful, and yeah, that mixed with his movement speed, his wind red shred, and his high burst damage, I doubt he's getting fully replaced, even if one part of his kit gets replaced, like, I don't know, like if they add another grouper, Plantain still has high burst damage. And even if that cookie is still high burst damage, well, he still has wind red shred, and even if they have wind red shred, he still has his movement speed. And if they still have movement speed, then, well, they just remade Plantain Cookie, and that's not going to happen. Sure, as far as debuffing capabilities go, he's still pretty limited, but, you know, that's okay. You're not building him for a debuffer, you're building him for an Infinite Labyrinth unit, and ultimately, he is irreplaceable in that game mode. Lemon Zest is holding on by a hair. Honestly, he might move down soon, but he has still proven, just like Plantain, to be invaluable for Infinite Labyrinth. Still probably one of the most used cookies in there. He has high burst damage in such a big radius that it's just really hard to replace him. And because he has such good synergy with Lemon, who is also very good. It's these two are essentially inseparable in that mode. I mean, Lemon can be used without Lemon Zest, which is why he's higher up in the list, but you know. Very solid DPS to be built for that mode. Very solid DPS all around. I do think he needs a little something in Arena as he's currently unusable, but again, Arena's not being counted. So yeah. Frostrock, still solid. He was recently involved in some controversy with glitches. Ooh, the G word. He's curious what the glitches are. There was one glitch where it essentially made it so that way even when he's out of his ultimate, he could use his first base attack in his ultimate. Yeah, it was usually achieved with macros, so I think people who did that got banned. Good. And there's another one where he could use Dark Choco's artifact, and it was really good. But it was also because of a bug where you could cancel his charge up attack and you would still get the buff, despite canceling it. Yeah. I believe it was just a code issue where it counted him canceling the charge up attack and doing a basic attack after as doing the charge up attack. Yeah, that's getting removed. Still very, very solid Earth DPS, still very high damage, very high burst damage. He can use Candy Drop and Honey Bear, who are the best supports in the game, but, you know, he's limited outside of his ultimate. He's probably not as consistent as Cream Soda, because, well, yeah. Because, again, he's big in his ultimate, he's small outside of his ultimate, you know, yeah. Honestly, those two are very, very, very equal. Cream Soda is better for Tower Arena, but we're not counting that. Overall, solid DPS. Nothing's changed. Yeah. Okay, SS. Nothing's changed in SS. We did the change, which was moving down Lemon. Jalapeno, still solid. She is probably not the best DPS anymore as far as like a strength sense goes, but ultimately if you build her, you're going to be able to use her in the most places. She's phenomenal in Arena. She's really good in guild battles. She's still really, really, really strong in Tower Arena, but we're not counting that. She's still really, really good in champion raids, and, well, fire as an element can still improve. It's not at its peak yet, unlike Earth, which is at its peak because it just got a new support, a new DPS, and Candy Drop is a really strong tagger. Fire still needs a new tagger, which means I suspect we will have a fire meta eventually whenever we get a new fire tagger. Ultimately, she's a really solid cookie, high burst damage, high skill target, high AoE. Yeah. Also very easy to build, very promotion friendly. She's just the ultimate DPS. Peach is essentially Fire Rockstar. Moving on. Nah, I'm kidding. She's Fire Rockstar, but she's more promotion friendly. She's can buff her team more at 4-star promotion while Rockstar needs 5-star. So yeah, that's ultimately, I guess, why she's up here. He's down there. And also because she is just the better universal attack buffer because her thing lasts a little bit longer. And yeah. Honey Bear, phenomenal cookie, phenomenal debuffer, good debuffer, just good all around. He can debuff in a massive area, it does pretty solid damage, and he debuffs slightly more than Blackberry did, which is why he is better than Blackberry. Don't think he's used a ton in Infinite Labyrinth, but neither is Blackberry, so yeah, they just don't serve a huge purpose, but he was used at one point. Could always come back. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to add, so moving on to Candy Drop, it's Candy Drop. She's the best cookie. It's probably staying like that. She can shred the defense of enemies, is a good universal tagger, good AoE damage, usable in essentially every single game mode. I don't think there's a mode where she isn't bad or isn't used. In Tower Arena, she's used for pretty much every single DPS besides dark teams and water teams, which proves just how strong she is, by the way. Yeah, she's so strong she had to get her elemental burst damage nerfed. There just really isn't much to add. I've glazed these cookies so much. I've glazed her so much. I don't have anything to add. And yeah, there's your tier list. I know this one was a little bit messier than usual, but there was a lot I wanted to talk about. And yeah, it was hard for me to keep a structure because there was so much I had to talk about. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on the tier list are, if you think there are some changes I need to make. Keep an eye out for the pinned comments, because if there's like a really big change that I need to make, I will make it. And I will post it down below. After a certain period of time, I won't, because if there's so many changes after like a week, then I'm just gonna make a new video on it. But you know, if like immediately after uploading this, I decide that a big change needs to be made, just keep an eye out for the pinned comments. Anyways, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe. It will help a ton. We are very, 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 very close to 4,000 subscribers, so you know, please get me there. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Also join my Twitter and my Discord.